situation and he's here to recruit you.
In the few years we've known Russell Brand, his career transformations have been impressive to watch. After a difficult childhood, he suffered from addiction at a young age before taking to showbiz.
I'm a lovely bear! Girl! Sorry. I'm not a genuine bear.
His quick wit, astounding vocabulary, big brain and even bigger hair saw him go on to become one of the top names in stand-up around the world.
Isn't it possible that airport security are taking possession of fruit a bit seriously?
I ran a pretty successful crime organisation. What did you do?
I smuggled a bunch of bananas into this country.
Taking on Hollywood, he's made movies like Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Rock of Ages, as well as marrying and divorcing pop superstar Katy Perry.
I'm living like this life. The very thing that I detest. Vapid, vacuous celebrity.
The last couple of years have seen Russell pull his most fascinating move yet, taking on politics, or a sort of anti-politics anyway, as well as being an outspoken advocate for drug education and treatment.
The criminalisation of addicts is kind of symbolic and not really functional. I'm not saying let's have a wacky free-for-all where people go around taking drugs. Didn't help me much.
Back in Australia with his live show, Russell Brand is one man you cannot pin down.
Would you please welcome Russell Brand? I guess you're going to start. You've got a tissue. Where would you like to put it? Can I help you with that?
Should I explain what's on it before I give it to you?
We are a PG time slot, but go for your life.
We don't want another pregnancy on this show. There are some spores on this.
Wow.
Spores. Airborne spores. I'll place it here.
Snot.
Snot? That's vulgar. These are life-giving seeds from another dimension.
How do you feel the mother of your child is going with mothering?
That woman, Fifi Box, for me, exemplifies all that is great about Australia. She is fun, she is frivolous, she is beautiful, exuberant, full of life, plucky, can-do spirit. She's unstoppable. I adore her.
Amazing.
Thank you. That's lovely. I didn't actually expect that answer, Russell.
Why?
No, because you actually are this a beautiful person, and you've been a very dear friend to me. And when people were perpetuating those rumours, I wanted to stand up.
I perpetuated it a bit.
Well, you did.
I should have perpetuated that.
Not too late.
So it's not true. We can just clarify
It's definitely not true, so let's not perpetuate anything other than tonight. Just talking about Russ, it's been 2-3 years since you've been here. The True World Tour is in our country. Please tell us, what can we expect?
You come to it. I'll do jokes there. You will have a pleasant time. You will feel connected to your own humanity and to us as a species, but in a joyful way. You will feel optimistic about change. You will not feel hopeless. You will feel loved because I love you. Tickets available.
Hell of a promise. The last few years have been big for you and have involved a lot of transitions. So stand-up comedy and then acting and then politics and activism. When you're doing all that, is it confusing? It is. Well, that's my question. Is it hard to get back into stand-up headspace?
Well, no, not for me, Waleed, because I'll tell you why. Because for me, all things must come from a centre of truth. Whether you're doing this interview here on the project, or doing stand-up comedy, or making love to a fine-looking woman in hope of a second child. Do it from the place in you that is true, from the place that in you is real. From some ideologies, you would call it God, or Allah, or Vishnu, or whatever. But for me, it's that essence. Behind your personal identity, we are connected to greatness. All of us feel it in silence, the quiet voice of wonder present in us all. You can use that in comedy, you can use it anywhere. Even great athletes use it. Who's that crazy tennis kid you've got now?
Oh, Nick Kyrgios.
Kyrgios, that he's coming from somewhere deep. He's deep, that player.
Have there been times in your life where you've lost that? You felt like you've lost it?
Yes, I lose it every day.
Oh. Do you get it back in time for when the show starts?
Please God.
You were knee-deep in Hollywood a few years ago. You had, you know...
Not knee-deep, Peter. You don't stop it. You're in Hollywood and you stop at the knee, you've misread the instructions. Go the full rest of the leg. Don't stop until you're at the midriff.
Is that how you get the tissue situation?
Very much so, yes.
I get the impression the experience maybe wasn't as great as you were hoping, or Or how did you survive that experience?
Don't try to resolve inner maladies with any external stimuli or you'll be disappointed. We're taught in our culture that it would be really good to be famous and rich, and it is compared to being really, really poor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, like, hoping that someone's going to sling me back into Essex working, like, in a factory. I don't want to do that. But, like, the glistening spectacle, we know this now, it does not nourish us in a real way. So I was sort of, like, getting the things that I thought I wanted as a kid, and then I was thinking, this doesn't work. Why is this not working? Like, if you imagine you're eating a delicious cake, but it tasted of ashes. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. But amazing things happened there. I met beautiful people, had incredible experiences, but I didn't like participating in the hologram of contemporary culture that distracts people from the true beauty that's already within them, that doesn't need to be consumed or bought because we already own it.
That needed a beat behind
Yeah,
it. That was amazing.
Someone can do that later on YouTube.
Well, now, you've opened a cafe, which sounds awesome, where you've got recovering drug addicts working there.
They're unreliable! Why are you late to work? Drugs!
And how is it going?
No, it's going really well, as a matter of fact. It's a social enterprise. It's good to have businesses that are not motivated entirely by profit, but to bring people together as communities, you know? Now, I'm a recovering drug addict myself, so the opportunity to get recovering drug addicts working for me is a great benefit, and it makes me feel very, very connected. But I will say they're unreliable! No, they're not. They're doing really bloody well. It's good. It's good to go to a business place and, you know, people have suffered, and they'll continue to suffer. I stay out of that cafe because I start to take it too serious, you know, like, you know, I want to be in control of it and go, oh, my God, come on, let's go, let's go. Like, I go into being Basil Fawlty from 40 Towers.
Well, you're extremely reliable, and you're reliable enough that you're going to stay with us for a whole nother segment and be just as funny as you were then.
I will
so
not
we're going to take a
leave
break.
till Fifi and I have a 25-year-old child.
Okay. Stay with us until that happens. We'll be back in a moment.
We're back with the project and we're joined by Russell Brand.
Now, Russell, as our international guest, I feel that you might be able to throw to our international news segment. Would you be OK to do
Yes,
that?
I'm precisely the right person to throw to an international news segment. Thank you, Carrie. It's time to see what's making the news now around the globe with a quick peek at an international news package. Take it away.
Oscar Pistorius will be freed from prison next week and placed under house arrest after serving 12 months of his 5-year sentence for killing girlfriend Reva Steenkamp. Next month, prosecutors return to court to appeal the Paralympian's culpable homicide conviction. They claim he should instead be convicted of murder. Denmark's Odin Sazu is copping plenty of flack for dissecting a lion in front of a crowd of children. The keepers say they're teaching kids about nature, but critics have branded the pungent event a macabre spectacle. Last year, Copenhagen Zoo was criticised for doing the same thing to Marius, the giraffe. And England may be out of the Rugby World Cup, but London Mayor Boris Johnson still has his eye on the prize. He's smashed a 10-year-old kid as he ran for the try line in a game of touch rugby during his trade visit to Japan. Toko Sekiguchi was OK, and apparently there are no hard feelings.
That is... I mean, he put his shoulder into that kid. That wasn't an accident.
It was quite vindictive, I thought, and I'd like to apologise on behalf of Britain.
Just for him in general, or just for that action?
In general.
Is he the leader that England needs?
No, I mean, though, given that he's a British politician around children, we should be grateful he was just that he elbowed one. They normally take it a lot further, especially the Conservative Party. Crikey, lucky to get away, that lad.
Now, Aussie politics, in the past you've had quite a bit to say about Abbott, Joe Hockey. In the last month, we have ourselves a new Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull. Do you have an opinion on him yet?
Here is that opinion now. Why you put really, really rich people in charge of your country for who want to build a thing called a tax shield? I want a tax shield. Also, what's that thing he goes, like, he's got money in the Cayman Islands, but there's nothing wrong with it. Having your money in the Cayman Islands is like putting your dick into custard. We all want to do it, but there's no rational reason to do it. If your dick's in a bowl of custard, you're doing it for a reason.
Just reminding you, we are live, bro.
On the upside, though, Bill Shorten has his next line, which is going to be wonderful. Is there ever any chance of you going into politics?
Well, I think in a sense we are all in politics, we are all responsible for our own communities, we are all responsible for our own lives. I don't think we can outsource the management of our communities. I think the last century has demonstrated that when we outsource our interests to economic elites, they will not treat us well. This is what has been proven. The situation in your country is the situation in my country or in America. To various degrees we are suffering because ordinary people have no access to power. We're being divided and invited to dislike each other on the basis of gender, religion, race or creed. We are one planet, one people, and we must create our own communities and our own politics.
But we're not one parliament, right? So would you do the parliament thing?
I don't like that bit. Although I like your one. In your parliament, they got swivel chairs. Like, that's amazing. No, you're out of order, mate. It's so sort of informal. A swivel chair. You would not get that in my parliament in England. Order, order. Like, it's more grown up. Your parliament, people are like, hey, fucking hell. Excuse my language. Sorry, Australia. If Australia can't take swearing now, good God.
But if you love to have a voice, why have you gone off your YouTube channel, you've gone off your social media? Why is that?
Because I'm taking some time to understand more profound truths than can ever be expressed in the secular world. I don't want to be put through the narrow parameters of conventional media, and when not for the fact that I'm here performing to the beautiful people of your country, I wouldn't have the opportunity even to be on this show. So sometimes I think that you get involved in circular, cyclical, circuitous arguments, and so I'm discovering something new and profound, and I'm just learning how to communicate it so as I don't embarrass anybody or anyone.
Your fans are very dedicated. What's it?
They better be! And so are the people in my coffee shops. They're unreliable! What do you mean you took too many drugs to bake a cake? Oh, I'm sorry, boss. The cake's full of drugs. Delicious. Put 10% on any drug-filled cake. Heroin's not cheap. What's wrong with these kids?
Is there any backlash when you take a break?
What, someone might lash back at me? Well, I'm here and then they lash. What are people lashing for? Don't lash. Don't lash in any direction. Elegant movements like lashing is undisciplined. Any fan of mine won't lash around. They're not octopuses.
I
don't even think I understand that.
No, I'm going with it.
I'm breaking down the... all that's happened there is it's a semantic issue.
Sure.
The word lash is quite loaded.
Right.
Often words that you separate them from their actual meaning. I've reconnected it to its actual meaning and thus created comedy.
It's good. Yeah. You
That's why we love you.
started with a metaphor and went literal. Yes, I like it.
That was a more succinct way of saying it. You must have been a bloody good lawyer.
I have to be succinct because we have to go to a break.
You've got to defend me in my next case. Apparently, I accused your Prime Minister of putting his dick in custard.
We're all back. Lara Worthington will be back with us very, very soon. Don't go anywhere.
Great song. Welcome back to the project where we have Russell Brand and Lara Worthington joining us. Hello.
Lara looks a little bit nervous when you...
Why?
Have you guys met before? Is this your first time?
Yeah, outside we did a photograph by the logo for the channel. Yes. And Lara was using modelling at me. I was just being a normal person in a photo. Lara went...
You were just...
did modelling.
I bet
He was just really loud in my ear.
That is the sense that receives vibrations. If I was loud in your eyes, that would be a problem.
Now, Russ, I'm nervous to ask this, but you did say at the start of the year that you were considering attempting celibacy. Is that something that you have continued with?
What time do you finish work?
She's going out with me tonight, so get your mitts off, yeah?
My celibacy rules...
I just saw you, like, edit about 5 jokes.
I do those for you.
Are you going it alone, or have you got a lovely woman at the moment?
I'm committed to the Lord. What do you want to know about me? My private life.
Well, you've gone from...
What I do with my penis at bedtime. Bizarre inquiry. Yeah. When you're in bed, what happens to that guy?
You've had one of the most high-profile relationships of all time.
With Fifi?
Yeah. I was just getting what sort of woman you're after now. Where are your world's at now?
I love all people.
Great. An open invitation. immigration to
I feel like
Australia.
this is one of those conversations where you say something and about 1,000 different interpretations get heard.
This is the difficulty with language. We communicate only through symbols, meaning attached arbitrarily. What is reality? What is truth? What is it, Fifi?
I'm confused about everything right now. I'm still back on what time I finish work.
I love that we're doing philosophy of language on this show. It's wonderful.
That's right. Semantics and semiotics here with me and Waleed.
How are you going, Lara?
Oh, God.
Russell, can I ask you?
I can't keep up with you. You're just way,
You don't need
too
to
quick.
keep up with me. You're perfect.
Yeah. OK, thank you.
We were talking to Lara before about how she goes with the Paps. How's your world with the Paps now? Because would it go up and down in terms of depending where you're living and what you're doing?
Sometimes I get agitated with them. Sometimes in a relationship I feel protective. I sort of would be a bit too violent because you think, no one really cares if someone hits a pap. It's a bloody good opportunity to express some anger. So what I try to do is imagine that there's people, because actually they are people. So it's not difficult for the imagination to do that.
I don't think they think we're people, though.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult though, isn't it? Because if they get a good photograph of you, a nip slip, say, that could be worth a lot of money to a pap. And I suppose, in a way, many of these problems that we face are economic and problems of, as I say, we've become detached from meaning. People don't think, oh, that's just another human being trying to get through life. Yeah. And it's difficult if you're very famous and you've got your own clothing line and makeup line and beautiful, perfect nose and profile. people won't feel sympathy for you because they'll think you're a shimmering light of pure energy. Oh. But they might think that. I don't know what people think.
Lara, if Sam's watching tonight, what's he thinking right now?
He's probably thinking...
Who is Sam?
You have a bag down there. What's
Yeah,
what?
yeah, I have
sorry,
a bag.
I didn't spy that.
Actually, I brought
Were you looking at her bag initially, Pete? Or Lara's legs, you sexist? Sam, I hope you're watching this. It's not me you want to worry about, it's Pete. The bag spotter.
Russell, like, you're from England.
Another dimension.
Yeah, England. I brought you some tanning.
I like that. Hey, that's racist.
Anyway, it's instant.
Is this a product placement? By Lara BinNgle. Hey, what's your name?
Well, I just got married, so I'm doing the rebranding.
Tan Moose?
Are you rebranding it?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Well, someone's enjoying it.
The chocolate monster couldn't be happier.
If you want to find out where you can see Russell live, head to the Site Smooth Oak page on our website. We got to go. Please thank Russell.